Big Boss, the Fox Sound Woods Ball, coming to you from Fort Lauderdale, and this video is kind of spur of the moment kind of thing, but today was pretty much just did a bunch of crap around the house personally, and for all you guys that saw my Christmas message and all that, well, if I didn't mention it in my last video, I'll mention it this time. Bad breakup. So, funny thing was, I broke up on New Year's Eve, which kind of fucking sucks, but I digress. I'm moving on, and best way to move on is some paintball therapy. Now, this is going to be a fast review. I normally don't shoot my videos at night, but under these circumstances, why the fuck not? So, today in the mail, I got this dump bag. This is made by NC Star. I got it off eBay for $6. And this thing is a nice ballistic nylon material. As you can see, open the Velcro flap here. I've got this nice nylon, silky like material here, designed to help protect your magazines. Now, a dump bag or a dump pouch for all you guys who are getting into the whole tactical arena. It doesn't matter if you're shooting real steel, you're doing airsoft, paintball. This is one of those kind of pouches that has become a must as far as gear setups go, because you could use it for holding your empty pods if you can't get them back into your pouches. Same with your magazines, or just dump your empty magazines in here if you gotta do a tack reload, or you just need to swap from an empty mag over to a fresh mag. Now, reason behind this is that magazines are expensive for one, as far as depending upon who makes them, like Magpols, HK, and that kind of stuff. But we also have a more practical side to it, as we saw during the Vietnam War. When Americans engaged in firefights with the NVA or the Viet Cong, they dropped their dead mags, they left them, they didn't care. The magazines were designed to be disposable to begin with. Bad part. The NVA and the Viet Cong had a bad habit of picking up the battlefield litter. That means dead magazines, ammo links, anything like that they can get their hands on, and they use it to their advantage. Now, that's one reason why soldiers today are carrying these kind of dump bags. That way, they police up their areas and they don't let something like a magazine fall into enemy hands. In the event that the enemy has captured American or coalition weaponry, they won't be able to use the magazines that could fit into them because we're taking them with us. Now, I digress from that. I'm going to be going over what this thing can be used for, how to use it, and what you can hold in it. But first, a word from our sponsors over at Acid Tactical. You can check them out at acidtactical.com. A link will be in the description to this video, and we'll be back right after this. Okay, we're back, and as you can see, I filled this thing with as many mags as I could get into it. Now, I roughly carry 9 magazines on me, not including the 2 I've got for my TPX pistol. Now, when you're a mag-fed player, you gotta take something into consideration. How many magazines are you going to carry to get you through a game? I've seen guys carrying anywhere between 3 to 6 magazines, not including the one in their gun. But I usually like to carry along the lines of what your typical infantryman would carry, or your operators, stuff like that. So I'm carrying about 8-9 mags for the MK7. I've got T68 magazines. Now, I chose this in an olive drab color because I run 3 different camo patterns. I run the Tiger Stripe, I run the Woodland, I run the ACU, and olive drab is universal like that. It could work well with all 3 patterns and still provide that camouflage that you need. Hell, you can even use a couple stencils, some spray paint, and do your own camo job on this if you wanted to. Now, how many magazines can this thing hold? That's the question, especially for all us MagFed players. Magazines are expensive. We don't want to lose them. So, let's see how many this thing could hold. And I'll explain the reasons why I chose a dump bag over what I usually do. Screw it. I'll do it right now. Now, I'm using my ACU rig as a prime example. Now, as you can see by the... I can hold all my mags in this rig. As you can see, I've got the basic magazine pouches, but I also got a little something extra via Wrap 4. As you can see, I've got the Molly Shingle kangaroo pouches on here too. So that way I've got a mag in each one of these pouches and 2 mags behind it being held down by these little bungee cords. And getting the magazines into this stuff initially is a little bit of a bitch. I'm not going to beat around the bush around that one. So, I would not want to be sitting behind a barricade trying to get an empty mag back into these pouches while I've got guys breathing down my neck shooting at me. So, bought the dump pouch for that particular reason. Now, for us MagFed players, open it up. Let's see how many magazines this pouch can hold. If I didn't mention it, I bought either the small or the medium size. So, let's see how many mags I can hold in this thing. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, that's half my ammo complement for my gear rig. 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now, I can hold effectively 8 T68 magazines in this one dump pouch, meaning I'm able to keep all my magazines secure on me for a very good game if I'm running into those long drawn out games, and I can just pull these magazines out of here and reload them when I'm in a staging area or I'm someplace safe in a building or something in a scenario game, and I've got a lot of guys around me to cover me to reload said magazines. Now, for all my fellow Milsim players who quote-unquote operate, how many pods can you get into this thing? Because I know some players are inclined to just drop the pod after they fill the hopper. Some players may want to get it back into that pouch if at all possible. But with the dump pouch, you needn't worry. I've got two types of paintball pods here, which are the 2 more common pod counts as far as our hopper-fed players go. I got 4 100 round, 75 to 100 round paintball pods here. These ones were either made by 32 degrees or they're generic. So there are those, and they're all similar to exacting dimensions. And we've got the even more common 140 round pods. And these particular pods are the boogie pods. These things are made very well. I've got to admit, I bought these from Special Ops Paintball years ago. They're made by Gen Global. I'm not sure if they're around, but when I'm writing up the article for this at outerheavenpaintball.blogspot.com, if they are around, I will definitely put a link in the description to these particular pods. Hopefully they're still on the market. So, with that being said, you can actually hold 1, 2, 3, and actually hold 4 100-round pods in here maximum. So for all you players that are just running with like a chest rig or one of those back setups or belt setups and you're only running 4 pods, this is going to be a lifesaver for you. And for all you guys that are wanting your firepower in terms of carrying 140 rounders, got 1, 2, 3, and 4. As you can see, you can also hold 4 of the 140 round pods in here without a problem. Now this is ideal for any player who needs heavy firepower, yet they've got to haul their empty pods on them. If you're running minimalistic with either 4 100 or 4 140 rounders, this will be a lifesaver for you instead of having to get it back into your rigs, which is something that any of us hopper players probably have done when we first started. But with that being said, there's more than one way to also use this too. Now, survival situations, you can use this thing to hold food. You can hold anything from rations, MREs in here. This thing can be a nice little addition to any type of survival bag. Not just for magazines, but it also folds up very well, I might add. As you can see, folded up in half. You got a bungee cord right here for retention. Just throw that on here and just throw the flap on. It's secure, it stays like this. You could keep it folded up like this out of the way, and when you need it, just basically pull this thing open, pull this back, pouch folds out, and you can start stuffing it with mags or pods or whatever. Now for our law enforcement professionals, I might say, this kind of evolved out of a Black Hawk concept called the prisoner control bag, designed mainly for the jails, for corrections officers when they're securing an inmate. If they find contraband item on him, they can easily throw it into this bag, maintain chain of evidence, and secure convictions and stuff like that. But generally speaking, that's probably how this came about as far as from looking at the Black Hawk angle. But aside from that, I'll come up with some more uses for this, and you can catch a written version of this at outerheavenpaintball.blogspot.com. I will post a link in the description to this video. Anyway, this is Big Boss, and I'm out of here.